Over the past 6 years, I've slowly transformed my setup to be my dream setup for gaming, work, and content creation. I've always been into gaming since I was about 3 years old, but never really had a place to call it my own. When I was young, me and my brother had a section in the basement where we gamed together countless of hours. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed all the memories that I had down there, but I never had a chance to have a place where the setup was my own. And once I graduated college and moved out, I knew that I would have this time to be able to grow my setup to what it is today. With that being said, this is my gaming setup transformation over the years. In 2019, I graduated college and moved to my first apartment after living with my parents for so many years. Now at this time, all I ever knew was console gaming, so I was gaming on a TV. My first setup consists of a TV and an Xbox One. A few months later, I had upgraded to another TV on the right of my big TV because at the time, I used to play on the 55-inch and there was so much input delay that I could not stand it. So I got a smaller TV, being the 45-inch, and put it on a nightstand right next to it. Now putting it on a nightstand was very dangerous. It was wobbly. I'm surprised I did not break that TV, but thankfully I did not. But having that smaller TV made it really good with the input delay and the movement. There was nothing there, so I was happy about that. And at the time, in 2019, I was big into 2K. Like, that's all I really played. And I had played competitively. We were joining leagues and playing for money. We were putting money into the pot to win that money back. But granted, we never won any tournaments, but it was really fun playing competitively on 2K because I didn't really have any space to be competitive anymore because I had graduated college. I played in college, played all the way growing up. So having that competitive nature in the video game was really fun to me. Even though this setup worked, it was really ugly having the two TVs side by side. So I decided to change that in the next year. All right, now in 2020, I upgraded my setup slightly by moving my TV away from the other TV and putting the gaming TV that I had into a different room and put it on a TV stand. So this really gave me the peace of mind knowing that I would not knock over that TV on a nightstand. I've had countless nights back then where I was really getting competitive in 2K and was getting angry at times. Luckily, I did not knock anything over, specifically that TV, but you know, moving it to the other spot gave me peace of mind. It looked a lot better and it wasn't ugly having the two TVs next to each other. Now, one thing I want to say, we all know what happened in 2020 with the COVID pandemic, but this was a very fun time for gaming with the new Call of Duty Warzone coming out. I can recall countless nights gaming with my cousins, searching for that battle royale victory. I remember when we got it our first time, it felt like after that, we could just get it countlessly back-to-back nights and we were just winning games and having a great time, racking up the kills. Now this and 2K were my main games that I played every day after a long day of working from home. It was really nice to just be able to get offline from work and just log into Call of Duty 2K, hang out with the boys and play the game. So it was a good time for gaming back then. Now there wasn't any terrible problems with this setup at the time because like I said earlier, all I knew was console gaming on a TV, but in 2021, that had changed. All right, so in 2021, I upgraded to the Xbox Series X in November of 2020. I got a gaming monitor that my dad got me for Christmas at the end of 2020 as well. My brother and I got the same gaming monitor. We were super excited to use it. It was a great upgrade at the time, being a smaller size screen, but it wasn't the best in terms of monitors, and I didn't know that until later when I had started looking for my PC setup. More on that soon later in the video. But it was a LG UGD 32-inch 4K monitor, but the refresh rate was only 60 Hertz, which really didn't matter at the time because I was only gaming on a console anyway, so 60 Hertz was perfectly fine. I had also bought myself a MacBook to start taking my content creation a little more serious by streaming off of it. I had also created my first YouTube channel where I really wanted to focus on gaming, specifically in 2K gameplay. This was also an interesting time for me because I had moved to a new apartment, which was the same apartment I'm in now currently, but I didn't have any extra room to put my setup away from my living room. So I set it up to where I had it similar in my first apartment when I first got there, having the TV on the right side and then also having my TV stand set up on the left side. So you can see it here in this picture, but it was safe to say that my back was hurting from leaning over in that chair that I had back then. So then at the end of 2021, I bought myself a desk and I bought over one of my work monitors to create a dual monitor, dual laptop setup with my Xbox on a coffee table next to my desk. I had also moved it towards a balcony as well, but I didn't really like the location of it because I was right under the vent. So whenever I was working or playing, and let's say I wanted to turn the heat on, the air on, depending on the weather outside, it would always shake the mess out of my monitors and kind of make my eyes feel weird. I would kind of get a little queasy when I was playing the game. So I didn't like that setup and it bothered me, but I made use of it and decided to change it in 2022, which is what you'll see next. Now 2022 was more of a chill year for me in terms of upgrades. Since I didn't really like the location of my setup, like I mentioned earlier, I moved it back to where I had it previously with the TV stand setup. So it was right next to my TV, like I had it when I first moved back into my apartment in 2021. This time around, it looked a little bit nicer because there was actually a desk and monitors instead of having the dual TV setup. So I think it looked pretty nice, but It still would be a little distracting whenever I want to watch TV on my couch or try to play my PlayStation on my TV, because right to left of me I have a whole desk setup, and I didn't really like it, but I mean, it worked for what it was at that time. One thing I also did upgrade in 2022 was I got a PS5 as well, as you can see in the picture in the middle of the setup. Also at this time, I was still heavily playing 2K on my Xbox and was really focusing on my 2K content, but I felt like my gaming and content creation potential wasn't really being fully maximized. So I decided in November during Black Friday, I would start buying PC parts to build my first ever PC, and 2023 is when the year of everything changed. Now you're gonna wanna buckle up for this one, because 2023 was a year of huge changes in my setup. Like I mentioned before, I bought some PC parts back in 2022 during Black Friday, and then I finished buying all my PC parts in January and February of 2023. And it's funny because my brother had actually came up to visit in March to take some pictures of the team that I was coaching at the time, and I had already had plans on making a PC build YouTube video, but I'm like, you know what? You up here taking pictures, why not use your camera so we can get official video for this PC build and go viral off of it. But funny thing is, I actually didn't even get to fully use his camera. He had to end up leaving because I took way too long to build the PC, which is okay. I switched from his camera to my iPhone, which is fine, but it was just funny trying to get the entire video on his camera, which did not happen. So shortly after building that PC, I realized that I did not have any desk space to actually play mouse and keyboard. On the desk that I currently had, it was just too tight and too small to be trying to move my mouse all over the place. So literally the next weekend, I went to IKEA to go buy 2 Alex drawers and a tabletop for that go-to IKEA gaming setup. After I bought that, I was really happy with how my results were looking, but I still knew I wasn't done upgrading my setup just yet. It felt like something was missing. I had to add more to it. I had always wanted a triple monitor layout, like those TIE Fighter monitor gaming setups that you see, kind of similar to like Star Wars TIE Fighters, but I didn't want to cover the view that I had on my PC. You know, I wanted to be able to see all the beauty that I had created in my PC, right? So I had did some researching online and was watching other videos of setups on YouTube, and I came across this video where this guy had stacked monitors and then a vertical monitor on the left, and I was like, that is the one I'm gonna choose. So in November, I ended up buying a new monitor and some monitor mounts so I could upgrade my setup once again. This is future me, obviously. As I was editing the video, I forgot to mention that I did get a new monitor back in July of 2023. It's a LG and it's like 165 hertz, 32-inch 1440p monitor. So forgot to add that in there. Now this is when I was having that feeling of like I could finally call my setup home. I was in love with my 3-monitor layout and I thought it looked really clean and very functional for me. 2023 had been a really successful year of upgrading my setup, but I knew I wasn't done just yet. In 2024, I started the year off right away with upgrading my setup by adding a Govee rope light around my desk for more RGB, and it really made me feel like I gave my PC setup 10 plus aura points with that one. Now, with this 3-monitor setup and having a PC for over a year now, that itch, I'm telling you, to build a new PC was rising fast. It was insane. I know some people in the comments may be thinking like, why not just upgrade your PC parts instead of building a new one? But in my mind, originally, I was thinking for like a dual PC setup because I was streaming a lot at the time and I wanted to game on the new one and then stream off the old PC. But then I found out kind of how complex it would be after doing some research and trying to set up all the wires and extra cables and then the audio and all that. And I really didn't have enough room on this desk if I was to do a dual PC setup. So I was like, you know what? Let me hold off and wait till I make it big on YouTube. You know, then we'll look to do a dual PC setup when I get to that point. So in February, I started buying the PC parts, and over the next few months, I accumulated all my PC parts to build that new PC. And during that time frame, gaming wise, I haven't talked about gaming in a minute, but I was playing a lot more Call of Duty with creating a movement with my friends and family and cousins that we call Search Sunday. This is where I streamed every Sunday and we would play Search and Destroy on Call of Duty, and it was just a great fun time. I've got a lot of clips off that and posted a lot of videos on there, so it'll be my TikTok. I'll link it below in the description if you want to go check those out. Now I was also playing Valorant a lot too, and my love for 2K really was dwindling and it was kind of going out of the window by the end of 2023, which is unfortunate. I had a lot of memories playing 2K, but it just didn't hit like it used to when I was younger, so I kind of stopped playing it. So when June came around, I finally had decided to build my second PC. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put the link in the description below. But building Building this PC, man, I'm telling y'all, it was way more nerve-wracking than the first one, which is crazy. But I think it was because I had all those high-end specs going with the 4080 Super and then the 7800 X3D. And honestly, it took me a few days to finish this PC build because I was getting stuck at certain parts with trying to do the new AIO. I didn't have that in my first PC. And then also having to, kind of eat and feed myself because I was hungry, but once I got through that and had it completed, it was looking really nice with my triple monitor layout. And funny story is, I tell it in the video from my building a PC video, but I had transferred my storage and Windows from my old PC to my new PC, and for some reason it was performing really bad, like crashing while I was streaming. It would turn off fully when I was even just listening to Spotify, which made no sense. And I was going through a breaking point. I was about ready to cry. I'm like, you know what? I can't do this no more. How I upgrade all these parts and it's not gonna work correctly. I could have kept my old PC, but I was like, you know what? I'm done with it. I'm going to Micro Center and I need these mugs to fix it right now. I did a 15-minute consultation. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, hey, I can't tell you either because that sounds like a lot, but why don't you just go ahead and reinstall Windows? And of course that worked. So I'm happy. Shout out to the man from Micro Center. But we finally got my PC working. I've had no problem since, so shout out to him. If you're watching the video, you the plug. And with 2024 coming to an end, I knew that there was a few things that I needed to complete for my setup to have it looking like the most ultimate setup that I ever had. So 2025 is where we're at now, and I'm gonna go into that. Now to come to present day in 2025, if you see my most recent video, you already know about the upgrades I've done, but I added the Govee Hexagon panels and a pegboard to my setup as well, a new mouse pad and a new keyboard to my setup. I got all these items for Christmas in 2024, and I was just way too excited to get the new year started. I knew that once January hit, I was gonna go ahead and upgrade these, and I'm happy that I did that. Now over the years, as I was getting into gaming more and content creation and like those setups that are functional, ergonomic, tech talk and setup talk and all that stuff, I really had wanted a pegboard and those Hexagon panels for a long time. So like when I first started researching the setups, I was like, I gotta get those eventually. And my plan always was to get a 2-bedroom so I could have my own gaming room to add the Hexagon panels and the pegboard. But luckily for me, I got it for Christmas and I was just so excited to set it up. And I'm like, I'm not gonna wait anymore until I get a 2-bed. Let's just make do with what we have now and put on the Hexagon panels and also put up the pegboard today in 2025. And I'm so glad I did that. I think it makes my setup look really well all around. Now we have personality on the left side of my setup, personality on the right side of my setup. So it looks very, very cool and good. Very, very cool and good. That's not really good adjectives. I think it looks super dope. I had to redo that cut. I think it looks amazing. It looks awesome. Awesome. And with that, that is the 6-year progression of my gaming productivity setup and how I went from this to this in a 6-year span. It all started 6 years ago where I had no idea of where I would go with setups, to fall in love with gaming setups and dreaming of having my own beauty. And I feel like what I have today is the best setup that I've ever created. I don't really know what's next for me when it comes to my setup journey. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comment section below. Please feel free to give me some suggestions. I'm really looking to figure out what's my next big thing for my setup. Make sure you guys follow all of my socials down below. I'll make sure to link them there. And make sure you guys give this video a like and subscribe to the channel as well. We are on the road to 1K subscribers, and I really would appreciate your love and support from the channel. With that being said, it's your boy Brad Ballin, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Peace.